So another culture war has started online again about trans people in sports, specifically trans women. Yeah, no, I just gave you a visual representation of what it's like trying to convince a conservative that women's sports aren't in danger because of trans women. So instead of trying to convince you with facts or actual, backed up statements by scientists, researchers, because even your own God knows you don't believe in that shit, I'm going to instead tell you about my personal experiences as a wrestler. Now, if you're a wrestler, you know exactly what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is this. The boys and the girls in middle school and high school wrestling wrestle each other. That's right, a combat sport makes the girls and boys wrestle. Now, of course, in some states it might be different, but Virginia is the only state I've wrestled in. So I want to talk about that because, yes, girls wrestling is becoming more popular, and I'm glad that it is, but that does mean that they're going to go ahead and start separating girls wrestling and boys wrestling because now it's becoming bigger and more popular. But like I said, let's talk about my experiences and what other people have told me. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my mother because she was wrestling in high school around 20 years ago, and she made it all the way to states. You want to know who she had to beat? Nothing but dudes. Guess what? The only reason she didn't advance any further than states was because her fucking arm got broken. That was it. That was the entire reason. But it's not only that. I wrestled girls in middle school, and while I never lost against any girls in middle school, I know plenty of other dudes that did. Not only that, in high school, I've been to tournaments where I've seen dudes get their shit rocked. So let's get one thing straight. If girls are beating boys, not a majority of the time, it doesn't have to be a majority, and it's not, but if girls are still beating boys in one of the hardest combat sports in the world, then it stands to reason that these two dumbass NBA players, ex-NBA players, that are making a big fuss out of this, don't need to be making a big fuss out of it, and you need to leave trans people the hell alone.